through the stories that define the artists playing Bonnaroo. Who are they? What are they? What will you see? The what? Which bands this year that matter? Yay. With Brad Steiner and Barry Corder.
Less than 4 weeks away from the greatest weekend of the year, Bonnaroo 2019. This is the What Podcast, a podcast for you, the Bonnaroovians, by us, fellow Bonnaroovians. It's Barry Corder. I'm Brad Steiner. Welcome back. We had a little bit of a layoff, but I'm glad to see you freshly haircutted there, Barry Corder.
I'm feeling lighter.
Are you? Boy, about 20 pounds with that hair of yours.
I was in that chair 4 hours.
Wow. I bet every second. Yeah, I bet. If you don't know, it really is the two best hair and best collection of hair in all of podcasts and radio.
Agreed.
Maybe all of media.
Agreed.
These two guys.
Agreed. Completely different.
Totally different looks. In fact, you know what we should do? Instead of doing like an episode of like artists, we should just do an episode of hair.
We could. That's great. We could do
this
all
artist
kinds
hair
of pictures. We could colorize, sepia.
Yes, that would be some episode. Us coloring.
We could have cutouts of our hair, and people could put their own faces in.
Wear their own hair. That's right.
Wow,
this is a great idea. I want to keep talking about you and your hair and your beauty as a man, because today is all about you. It's your favorite day of the year.
It is. I love this. I'm very, very excited. Less than a month.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Today, because actually there's some Bonnaroo news that came out while we were gone the last couple of weeks. But the biggest piece of news is that today is nothing but Barry Corder's picks. And I wonder, because I have not seen your list, I don't know what you've chosen. This is totally new to me. I wonder how many doubles we're going to have. I wonder how many covers we're going to have that I do that you also will go with.
This was different because we've done this now a couple of times, and we always discuss, how do we pick them? Are we picking your favorites? Are we picking the new surprises for you?
Yeah.
Or are we picking the obvious ones? I kind of went round and round, and then I made my list. I built it on Spotify, and you guys can go to it. It's Barry's 2019 Bonnaroo picks.
You just search Barry Corder, BARCOURTR, or you can search Brad Stinks.
Brad Stinks.
Yeah.
I did put the What Podcast in the messages, so you should be able to find it. But one of the couple of things I discovered, Brad, is, when we do this show, we usually play, 30, 45 seconds maybe a full minute if it's really getting into it. And so I discovered, once I went and found the entire songs for some of these bands, I didn't like this whole song. I was listening to it for that. How does it sound does it grab you at the beginning kind of thing?
This is the plight of the top 40 radio DJ guy. So this is what I program. This is the radio station that I run. I really only listen to the first 60 seconds of a song.
That was what I did, and so I after I built it, I put it all on shuffle and was listening to it during the morning around the house. And the other thing I discovered is Casey Musgraves followed by Girl Talk doesn't work.
Is that right?
No, it doesn't work at all.
I'll remember that.
Or Childish Gambino in front of Brandy Carlisle or Courtney Barnett.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. It's not a good...
That's interesting that you were... I wonder how many people do that with their playlists and really want the flow to be right, because, radio, that's what we're taught. You try to figure out how to get from one song to the next. I have always been very anti that thought.
Right.
I get in a lot of fights with the industry because I feel as though rotations and what song goes into another song really doesn't matter. I don't think we have a format that's bizarre and it's all over the place. And I feel like that's the way that you do the festival too. You'll go from Childish Gambino to Grizz,
right?
Or so I've never thought that your playlist was ever too flowy. If
yeah, no, absolutely, and that's why I brought it up. I hit shuffle, so it was shuffled twice, so to speak. I guess what I found, and it also was the time of day. I mean,
sure,
it was early Sunday morning,
yeah.
and I'm cleaning the house, whatever. So all of a sudden, I don't need girl talk.
Yeah, it's a little different.
A little different.
It really is such a great song, such a great artist to, I don't know, make a pasta to, or have a romantic night with the wife.
Yeah, maybe an hour later when I'm running the vacuum.
I'm sorry?
I'm already,
Is that your code word for it? An hour later you're running the vacuum?
Running the Hoover.
This has gone in such a weird direction today.
Going from hair to Hoover.
Hair from Hoover. Oh, Jesus.
But anyway, and the other thing is I did decide that I wasn't going to put or pick some of the headliners, though I do have a Fish song on my list just because it sort of rounded out the schedule. I kind of did it two ways. I made my schedule and then went and found songs from those bands and then went and picked for today's show more or less the best of my favorites of the favorites.
Well, the way that we did it last year is we went through the schedule and you went through each day and then the one artist that you were not going to miss that day.
That was pretty much it.
Okay.
And then the other thing, as we talked about a couple of times on the last, or talked about it on the last couple of shows, is the whole general admission camping area thing is blown up.
It throws everything off.
I've got a list 4 pages long here, notebook pages. I know I'm not going to stick to it.
Sure.
There's 3 or 4 acts on here that are pretty much, I really want to see John Prine. I missed that occasion too many times to do it again.
Yeah.
Becoming a big fan of the National and some of the others. I really want to go see, I think it's Diva. I think that's how we say her name, Diva Mahal, the more I listen. But there are so many, as I actually, and you were right, the app is pretty cool, the way it works.
Yeah, they changed the app, and finally the grid makes sense. Before, you had to do this funky little turn on the phone, and you had to zoom in and zoom out. It just didn't work. I don't know why it took them so long to fix it, but the app, the schedule grid is so much better. The user interface is so much better.
Still not, I mean, you still got to know that it'll look blank if you're just looking for favorites because it's a top and bottom. It's too big for the phone type of thing. But so I went through and made those. And then, like I said, I know there are holes in Saturday and Sunday where I'm thinking that's going to be nappy time.
Yeah, sure.
Or GA or something.
Yeah, I mean, when I look through it, and this is not about me today, but I'll talk about it when we do my list next week. The Saturday might be an entire nap day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one that's totally okay by me, by the way. I have no problem in the world having nothing to do on a day. Those are some of my favorite days of the festival.
Well, and the reality is, and we've joked about it, but when I sat down and really started making it, Thursday is full.
Yeah, Thursday's packed. I mean, Thursday is unbelievably packed, and I think they do this for a reason, right? Because they want you to be there an extra day so that they can make more money. The fact that they can get you on Thursday, a really great lineup on Thursday, and a really stacked lineup on Sunday, is so that you won't leave early and you won't get there late.
That's part of it, but that's counter to what they told us a couple of years ago, or last year even, standing there at the media thing, is they really wish they hadn't created this show up on Wednesday monster because it's more work for them.
Well, that's true, and I do understand their point, but I always notice whenever a lineup comes out, I think Shaky Knees is a great example of it. Shaky Knees happened in Atlanta over the this past weekend, and or was it last weekend? This was Shaky Beats this weekend, and Shaky Knees was last weekend, my apologies. So, but you'll notice the 2 best days of the festival were Friday and Sunday. Yeah. And there's a reason, because they want you to be there all 3 days.
Yeah,
and they don't want you buying a single day pass. They want you to get there the whole weekend so they can,
Yeah.
There was a great thing. By the way, I talked to, I'm not going to tell you who the festival person was, and I'm not going to tell you what festival it was, but they told me this amazing statistic that once they sold out, every ticket sold past that, they knew they would make plus $1,000 on,
right? Yeah,
or plus whatever it was. It was an astronomical amount of money. So if they could sell 10,000 more tickets, that meant $100,000 more revenue or something insane like that. So that extra little bump, every tiny little extra bump that they get per day, it turns into being massive amounts of money when it's all said and done.
In the club venue vernacular, they call that your nut, making your nut.
Right.
So yeah, everything over zero or whatever, and it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
You're right.
They were saying that they averaged a single person in this certain festival would account for at least $100 a day, and for a 4-day festival, you're talking $400 per person. That's if you sell 10,000 more tickets. What's the math between $400 and 10,000 people?
Yeah, it's a good day.
That's an enormous amount of money to just find yourself in. So if they can get you an extra day, imagine the difference in money. And they figure that out with the scheduling, and you'll pretty much see that in every music. Like I saw the Governor's Ball lineup. Guess what day just magically is the weakest? Saturday. Yeah, it's always Saturday.
The sandwich, the bologna between the bread.
That's right. That's right.
Well, it makes sense. They used to do that with us when my kids were traveling with sports. We were the out-of-town team, so we had a Friday late or a Saturday early morning. So you came for the hotel room. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. All right, let's start with Thursday. Thursday, you're obviously going to start early because Thursday's packed, and you could probably do an entire music festival weekend just on Thursday.
I could go home Thursday or Friday morning, and that would be a good day.
Yeah, I feel like I've done the whole weekend.
Because it goes, if you look, it goes till 3 and 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm going to start with Peach Pit on Thursday afternoon. A lot of these bands that I've picked are ones that, to be honest, were new to me. There's a couple like John Prine, obviously, Courtney Barnett, but a lot of them are for me, I would call them first time. Learned about them this year because they're on the Bonnaroo schedule.
I stay here, stay night. I can't do otherwise. But is it enough? Why'd you look so tough? Back at Patrick Park, we stood in the dark. In my beer-stained mind, I said, please won't you be mine? There's something darkening over my head.
Now, I don't want to fight with you here, Barry Corder, but you're telling me something that I want to fight. I want to argue with you about. They're from Canada.
If I'm reading the Wikipedia right, they started in Croatia, I think around 94, and then went to Canada, Vancouver.
I don't, but where?
You're not seeing that?
No.
All right.
I've always known them as a Canadian band. Indie pop band from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I've always known them as a Canadian band. I've never heard of anything like Croatia.
Maybe I got it. Maybe
Are
I got
you
bad intel. But
this would be big news. We'd be breaking news here. I don't know. All right, Judge Judy, what's the verdict?
You're correct.
I love those words.
There are two. One's Vancouver, and there is one from Croatia. I merged the two.
What do you mean? The two guys?
Bands. No, two bands share the same name.
Well, that I didn't know.
Obviously, I didn't either.
Okay.
So I apologize to everyone
Wait,
out
so
there.
there's another Peach Pit?
Yeah. Well, started in Croatia in 94. I guess they're still around. They were actually a pretty hardcore punk band that used to get thrown off. They used to get the sound system unplugged a lot.
But see, now I'm absolutely stunned. There's two bands with the exact same name?
Well, it's not unusual.
I don't think I've heard of another Leonard Skinnerd.
No, there are. Okay, there are some, but there are bands because they get sued. They sue each other all the time.
So when did this other Peach Pit start? When did they?
I don't know when they
still
went
working?
away. I don't know that. I didn't go that deep into the whole background.
Yeah, when you
but
said
I somehow blended the two. I thought they started in Croatia and then moved to Canada.
Yeah, boy. I don't know if you when you said 94, you almost threw me for a loop because I don't think these guys are 25 years old.
Probably
so I don't know how they could. They formed when they were born as zygotes in the womb.
New to me.
All right, there you go.
New to me.
Well, it's a very good way to start. I am actually a really, really big fan of Peach Pit, and that is going to be one of our crossovers. Absolutely, that's going to be a definite member of my list for sure.
It's such a good way to start the third. Officially, sort of start the
You know why?
festival,
Because
but
it sounds like the space.
Exactly.
It sounds like the space and time that you are in. And if you are listening to this podcast, thank you, first off. But this is the What Podcast. And if you're listening to that, you know exactly what feeling we're talking about, unless you've never been to Bonnaroo. And if you have not been to Bonnaroo and you're listening to this to get acclimated, let me just warn you, Peach Pit is exactly what Thursday afternoon should sound like.
I think so too, and that's why I picked them to start it out. I know exactly what you mean. Every time I hear a certain song, my mind is in the middle of that field,
right,
in either the tent or the big field or something. But it just has that. I don't even know. I don't get that from arena shows. I don't get that from either of our theater shows or a club. They're different. There's nothing wrong with those, but there's something about that Bonnaroo festival.
There's something about that air,
sound and feeling.
Yep,
and
that hum in the air. That general hum, and it's not just a sound, but it's a mood and a feeling that emits from the human beings around you too. Because the reason why it sounds like a Thursday to me is because literally every single human being that you see is smiling on Thursday. Yeah. Now they're probably smiling too on Sunday, but they've been broken down and beaten a little bit. But on Thursday, they're so happy. Everyone's in such a great mood, and they're so the space just feels like it's oozing happiness and joy. You know, part of it is we don't, even with us, we talked about that. You said the other day on the show, once we top the hill, the mountain, and come down into the valley, the radio, or no radio even, windows open for you. Right. It's just another universe. Right. So imagine those kids that have traveled 8, 9, 10 hours. That is a great question. That's my moment when I know I'm at Bonnaroo. Right. And maybe I've asked this before, but when's your moment? Yeah. Because you come from New York, you come from Alabama, you come from so many different parts of the planet. You don't come from Chattanooga, most likely. The way that we come right down, get off the interstate, and we come right down the side road, and we hit the top of that hill, and as soon as we come down the hill, there's this beautiful open scenery to your left. And that's when I know. That's exactly the moment I know. But it's got to be different for everybody. Absolutely. I mean, imagine New York. You got 12, 14 hours in front of you. You know you're excited when you get in the car with your buddies. Yeah. And then reality hits. You got another 12 hours. Yeah. It's never going to be okay. So, and then you get there. You got that hassle of unpacking. Everybody's still happy. They're usually high-fiving and sharing things and getting to know their neighbors. But that first show on Thursday is when, theoretically, you're settled in. Right. You're comfortable. You've probably walked around Bonnaroo twice. Now, that's a great point. Ready to start. The reason mine starts so early is because I think I've just done it so many times. Right, absolutely. But you're exactly right. The real moment is the first step inside when you hear a first note or you get that first pass around the fountain. That's probably right. All right. Exactly right. All right, so what else is Thursday holding for you? Donna Missel. One of the names that you randomly pulled out of the air the very first on schedule day. Yeah, almost like I was. I mean, I listened back to it. It sounded like I was insulting her. Yeah, I was like, who the hell is Donna Missel? And now she's like, I know one of my favorites, and we've had several people who've written us notes. Yeah. Thanks again for all the notes. Who said, I found her because of you guys. Well, I didn't mean it to be insulting. It was just one of those things, it was one of those moments where, you see a name on a list, and you're like, I don't know who the hell that is. But because it's on this list, it's probably pretty good. Well, another tidbit, from... Is she from Croatia, too? My crack reading that I was doing. Yeah, she strangely is from Croatia. No, she has a history with Macklemore. Okay. She's on one or two of his more recent songs, so... She's from New Jersey. She's not a complete unknown, but she was to us, which is the point. And I just like her. I'm looking forward to seeing her. Keep a lying to me. Just keep lying to me. Don't go fucking with my fantasy. Keep lying to me. Feed me your affection. Give me
just one taste to sustain this addiction. Blissful affliction. I'll swallow your poison till it runs through my veins. Fills my heart with deception. Twists my perception.
She's got that air to her where it sounds like I just found her in a Nashville bar.
Yeah.
You know, like I stumbled upon some sort of like, what in the world have I found here?
Yeah.
And in this Nashville bar, Donna Massal, another Thursday pick. And then you go where?
Then I'm going to go, well, we've got Drax Project.
Okay.
Who is on my list because I really liked the interview we did with those guys.
Yeah,
and
they're good kids.
They were great at your event.
Yeah.
At the running of the Chihuahuas, and hoping to have them at Camp Nut Butter. But then...
Yeah, I don't know about that because they're a bit too dreamy. And
you threatened?
I don't know if the females at our camp are gonna.
They were really nice guys.
One in particular, I think, had a big crush on one of them.
Yeah.
Well, one of our females in particular had a very big crush on one of them.
I bet I can guess which female and which guy. But they lead right into the Grand Ole Opry, and we don't know what that's going to be. But that's
and I don't care.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
But so we can't play anything.
We just know it's going to be good.
We just know it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then another act that you had helped get have as a guest on this show, AJR. And they're one of those that sort of fall into the, because they had such big hits. But,
wait, is AJR on Thursday? No, AJR is on the Witch stage. Yeah. So you get them on a totally different day.
I've got man, I'm all out of
That's
whack.
okay, but I love the AJR pick. And look, it is a pop group. Don't get anything wrong here. Make sure you know.
You're right. They're Friday. Rolling Blackouts.
Rolling Blackouts is the big headliner for me on Thursday.
Yeah,
AJR is a pop trio, and they do pop music, man. And know it when you walk in. I'm just stunned as a guy that has known them since it seems like babies. I'm stunned that they're doing the Witch stage. That is a massive look, a huge look, and to go from being in my courtyard in front of 7 people to the running of the Chihuahua stage in front of 150 people to the Witch stage is unbelievable.
But that's how it happens, and that's the whole point we keep talking about.
That is not how it happens.
Well, they all had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
is my point.
I know. I'm just kidding.
And this don't go on Thursday because you never heard of somebody is a big mistake.
That's a big mistake. Yeah,
and they fall into the other category of that is because when you hear the song, and I've got the wrong day, but when you hear the hit, You'll Burn the House Down, you're gonna know it.
Yeah,
you probably have heard it a bunch of times. Maybe if you're like me, you don't always see who's playing on your, shuffle or whatever.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's
good.
It's
good
an
pop song.
It's an earworm. They're really good pop songwriters. And when you have somebody like Rivers Cuomo being a big fan of yours, not just a big giant industry boost, but it gives you credibility around the country. And by the way, I'm telling you, they're a pop outfit. These kids had a #1 single at alternative radio. So they do sort of check a lot of boxes. But Rolling Blackouts, to me, is the star of the lineup. The entire poster sung when I saw Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever, because they're one of those artists that I've been dying to see since that album came out last year, which was damn near one of my favorite albums of the entire year.
Yep, they're good. And that's just, again, another strong act.
A huge, and it's going to be one of those like Courtney Barnett level crowds where it's going to be massive. I mean, I could listen to this all day. I mean, if you did an entire festival just of Rolling Blackouts, I'd probably be there.
Yeah.
They could play all day, all night.
It's terrific. And again, that's fairly early evening Thursday?
Yeah, it's awfully early. It's surprisingly early because you've still got probably 3 more acts that you want to see and campground stuff after that.
And I'm not even going to play any of the other ones. That kind of ends my Thursday as far as like favorites.
So what's your absolute pick must see on Thursday?
Grand Ole Opry.
Grand Ole Opry. Okay.
Grand Ole Opry.
There you go.
Sure.
All right. We go on to Friday.
Friday's going to start with Item A.
Yeah, you another Bonnaroo What podcast find?
Yeah, all of these are pretty much.
Are they for you?
Yeah, a lot of them. Which is probably why I have them all jumbled up coming from Croatia.
Standing in the rain as I'm diving in the sea. If you couldn't keep your promise, why'd you lie to me? Now I'm on the long road with a gun in my mouth, watching go to Sports Live in a hungry house. Reaching. Yes, I am reaching out.
You know the small little story about Item A?
I don't, other than they're British.
They're British. A guy and a girl. They were in a former band called Kill It Kid. And I guess this is sort of the second version of Kill It Kid because Kill It Kid dissolved. I guess they lost a couple of members, and now the main guy and girl came together and became Item A.
I think I remember reading that, and it was completely different sound that they've got now, right?
Oh, really? I don't know. I have no idea.
I think I remember adding that.
Wasn't a big frequenter of Kill It Kid shows back in the day. No.
See, and then
But that's really early. You're starting very early on Friday. Well, isn't that like the first show out of the gate?
And that's what I'm saying. There's another gap. I've got Cherry Glazer next, sort of favorited tag. It's on my Spotify playlist. Some of these are going to be walk-bys.
You sure? Okay, I got you.
They're going to be, I want to go check it out. If it's great, I'm going to stick around.
Okay.
If it's not, I want to say that I saw
Well, what time
them.
is Cherry Glazer?
Cherry Glazer looks to be 2:30.
Wow, that is early. That is so early.
That's what I'm saying. But that's, go out, check it out, come back, check it out.
I'm not going to go too deep into Cherry Glazer because I'll have more thoughts on it next week. But that's a damn near can't miss for me. That girl has got something.
Absolutely.
But then you leave Cherry Glazer, you got more breaks, or you're just doing walk-bys from then on?
Another break. You got Parquet Courts.
I've really turned you on to Parquet Courts, haven't I?
Yep. And then AJR, which is a don't miss, but that overlaps the Avets, which I've seen several times. So
so here's what I would say, and that's an odd conflict for somebody to have, but I'm sure there are plenty of people that have it, Avets or AJR, so you're telling me they're on the same time. Yeah. Okay, here's my suggestion.
Shankar, too, who I want to go.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we did that on the Bonnaroo.
Oh, yeah, you're a big fan of her.
Him. Rabbi,
or
she
that's right.
is Rabbi's daughter. I don't know. There's that Beatle connection thing for me.
Okay.
So,
So here's what I would say. This is my suggestion if you've got an AJR Avet. I can promise you, you're going to see the Avets again.
Like I said, I've seen them. So
and more likely than not, you've already seen them.
Yeah.
Now, I love them. They're fine.
Yep.
But again, that space, they have occupied that space before. Large crowd, large stage, big stage show. You're going to see it again. I'm really excited to see the kids get on a big stage for the first time.
Me too.
This is the biggest stage they will have ever played. And I love that idea. I love watching. Remember, these are 20-something-year-olds, right? And they're essentially babies. And to be able to be dropped after all of these years of struggling, and then out of nowhere, Rivers Cuomo, gives you a giant hit. I want to see those kids' faces when they get on the big stage. I can't wait for that eye-popping moment of theirs.
And I know you don't like the sound there. I've never had such an issue with it as you have, but it's such a cool kind of space because you can get up front and feel like it's that mass mosh pit, or you can back up and get under the tree, almost back to the hill and
okay. I haven't talked too much about this, but for the What being damn near the best sounding stage I've ever heard in my life. I mean, there is not a space around that stage where it is not crystal clear. The sound on that stage is unbelievably perfect. For that being so good, I can't for the life of me understand why The Witch sounds so bad.
No, I don't.
And in comparison, it makes it even worse. Now, I do think, and I'll give them a ton of credit, I do think the sound has gotten better. I think they have figured it out much better than they did probably 4 or 5 years ago. But 4 or 5 years ago, you couldn't pay me to see a show on The Witch.
That's what you've been saying.
Now, last year, Bon Iver on The Witch sounded amazing. Now, it does change depending on the artist, and it changes via their sound person. But they have figured it out more often than not on The Witch stage, more than they did probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, they moved all the tents around. They moved all kinds of things. But was it Muse last year on the What stage?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That sounds unbelievable.
That actually was the highlight of the show because I couldn't hum you a tune.
Yeah.
Technically, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Sonically, it was brilliant. But yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it has that different feel to it. It's big, but it's not so overpoweringly big like the What stage.
And for a guy like you who loves the walk by, it's the perfect walk by stage. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, HAR, then into what?
Courtney is going to be my do not miss again.
Okay, boy, I've got something to say about this. I really do. And I love Courtney Barnett, and you probably have hit the artist that our camp probably agrees on more often than not. I mean, that's the one that probably everyone in our camp is going to go to because every single one of us loves Courtney Barnett. And
because of Thursday night at Bonnaroo.
Because of Thursday night 3 years ago, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that and she's great.
And she's very good, right.
But I got the, oh man, it felt like an honor. But I was in the hay bale session when she performed on that Thursday before her show. And I just sat there with me and legit 2 other people.
Nice.
I mean, next to Courtney Barnett playing by herself in the hay bale backstage, recording a session for like Bonnaroo Radio or something. Yeah. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Those are the moments, right?
That was the moment. And that's when I said, I'll swear for the rest of my life I'll be dedicated to you and only you, Courtney Barnett.
Yeah. Well, she's the one for me that...
I love you, I hate you, I'm on the fence, it all depends whether I'm up, I'm down, I'm on the mend, transcending on reality. I like you, despise you, admire you, what are we gonna do when everything all falls through? I must confess I've made a mess of what should be a small success, but I digress, at least I've tried my very best, I guess. This, that, the other, why even bother? It won't be with me on my deathbed, but I'll still be in your head. Put me on a pedestal and I'll only disappoint you.
I just don't think there's a better songwriter on the planet than Courtney Barnett right now. She's just so clever, so much fun, and just lives in a world where I wish that I was, where I just don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's her.
I mean, I got a lot of it in me, but I don't have it like she has it.
She just seems like somebody you'd love drinking a beer with.
Sure. Yeah, and
with the thought that she could punch you in the mouth at any minute.
At any moment, yeah, which is most of my friends. Yeah, that's pretty much all of you.
The other, I mean, now you've got me all questioning my schedule. I feel like Brian Stone with his laminated schedules.
Brian Stone, who you might have heard on previous podcasts, has a history. So all we ask of our campmates is to bring something to camp that's useful to everybody. I bring carpet and couches.
I don't know what I bring.
Brian's
Charm.
dad. Brian, every year, who you may or may not have heard of, but Brian every year brings a laminated schedule that
he spends hours
putting together, much like you do if you're on Reddit and you create your own grid. Well, he does the same thing and then laminates it, and he's very, very proud of it. And he's
got it on a big ring binder and hangs it in the tent.
He's so proud of it, man. It's like his crown jewel of the year. It's like he's built a house every year and he shows it off to us. Well, the big problem with Brian's laminated schedule is that every year it ends up being completely wrong. Every year. I don't know how he does it, but every year it's always wrong. And so there have been times over and over. There's not a time in the festival every year where he does not come back within 20 minutes of leaving and saying, well, I screwed up the schedule.
Wrong day,
wrong time, wrong stage.
But so I've also got Pinky, and Ducky on my Friday.
Pinky, Ducky on Friday.
Pinky, Ducky to go see.
Friday.
I'm curious about both.
But is that all at the same time? Is that the problem?
No.
Okay, so these are walk-bys for you.
These are walk-bys to go check out. Especially Pinky. It's kind of an LA punk. It's a trio, female trio, and I really like the sound. They're on one of the smaller stages.
I think it's the Who stage, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because we talked about them on the Who stage.
Time
podcast, a podcast for you, the Bonnaroovians, by us, the Bonnaroovians, Barry Corder, Brad Steiner. Today, a day all dedicated to Barry's picks halfway through Friday.
Well, the other one on Friday is Ducky.
Oh, yeah, Ducky.
This is San Francisco. She's a DJ. There's a couple of DJs on my list, Girl Talk, Ducky. And then on Sunday, well, no, it's not a DJ. It's a band from Tokyo that I'm pretty excited about.
Tokyo, Croatia.
The other DJ that I remember is Balk and Bump.
That was my nickname in jail. Sure.
Know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to those.
Okay.
But, Friday's a good day. And we jumped ahead a little bit with Courtney, but that's the one that's going to.
That's your pick. That's your can't miss.
That's my can't miss.
You're not going to do Childish, though.
I'm Walk By.
Wow.
And then also, I'm still trying to factor in some of those wander out to the camps and see what's going on.
I got you.
I don't want to plan them because I know I'll walk out there and it'll be the 2 hours that there's nothing planned.
Well, yeah, it's hard to plan something like that when, you get told by Redacted that there is a Secret Cage the Elephant show tonight at 8 o'clock or 8:30, and then your entire night is totally screwed up, you know?
Exactly.
So, when we heard about that really early, we started looking at all the things that we'd be missing. We're like, oh my God, what do we do here?
That's what I mean. I think this is going to be a really complicated Bonnaroo.
Yeah, especially when you realize, I don't know, you haven't done it. I did it for the first time last year. It's a long walk.
It is a very long walk. Out there and back.
Yeah, from where we are, it's a little bit of a haul.
I know. We'll have to figure out.
Listen to us complaining about our problems.
Yeah,
how dare us?
Wank. You kids get off the lawn.
Babies. All right, Saturday. Good morning, Saturday.
Saturday's going to start out with Diva Mahal for me. I just really, really like her sound.
My eyes are wide this morning, but my heart is heavy still. There's a sea inside me, storming, 'cause I'm battling with my will. Though I may grow tired and weary and ache within my bones, I will fight for what I believe in, even if I fight alone. I know that I'm gonna keep on moving on, 'cause nobody can stop me, yeah, 'cause I gathered my armor.
Yeah, it's a really great sound. It's like Amy Winehouse and Sharon Jones. I really, really do like her sound. I'm interested if I kept going, how much I'd like it. Yeah. Back to that thing. I don't know. Is that going to last 3.5 minutes or 30 minutes or 30 seconds? I don't know.
I want to find out. And of course, she's Taj Mahal's daughter, so another one of our child of.
Yeah, you are such a fan of Taj Mahal.
First of all, it's just a great name. Yeah, it's a great name.
It's a little bombastic, don't you think? Just a touch.
It thinks highly.
Yeah. Oh, here's I'm just calling myself King Tut.
Yeah, I'm going to be Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
No, I just like that sort of history, I guess, that music history thing. And like I said, I like that sound. So, and that sounds like a pretty good way to start day 3 or 4, depending on, for us, it'll be day 4.
6,
right?
10, 12.
4, yeah, bunch.
We're leaving tomorrow.
Feels like it. Start packing tomorrow anyway.
Kidding.
But I'm excited about that one. So,
oh man, speaking of like packing tomorrow, oh my God, we're getting into that time where like in the next couple of days, we only have a few more weekends left before the thing. So this weekend may be the weekend where everybody starts to pull their gear out of the closet and out of the basement and hosing it down and cleaning it off. Yep. This might be the start of Bonnaroo planning this weekend. In fact, oh my God, I forgot. We have a team meeting this Sunday.
We have to have a team meeting. That's what I'm saying.
That means the podcast is going to be late again.
Means you got to start pulling stuff out to see if the critters have gotten to it, if it's still there. If
man,
it's real.
That just hit reality to me. Yeah,
it's real.
Okay,
it's exciting. Next up for me is Hippocampus, another one of those. I think a Bonnaroo act, right?
It was, and we did not know who they were, and we did not know they had the following that they had, because the second that we said we didn't know who Hippocampus was, oh my God, did we get?
How dare you? How can you be in this business and not know?
Look, because sometimes I'm a consumption junkie too. Like I try to pretty much hit play on no matter what comes across, but sometimes you just miss.
Yeah, you can't know everything.
Sometimes you just miss. The biggest, most embarrassing miss of my career will go unnamed, but I found them as soon as they retired. And I was so excited when I found him. I was like, I can't wait to see this show. And then last night at Madison Square Garden, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, well, it happens. There's a bunch on this list. There's a bunch of acts that you're in top 40 radio, which I, no disrespect, I don't listen to.
Well, nor do I. It's terrible.
So there's a whole lot, yeah. And even some of the adult contemporary stuff, you just can't know it all.
You can't. But I will say it's pretty entertaining when I go to some of these functions and some of these radio things, like you're with other radio guys, and they're all format specific. So I'm talking to other like top 40 radio guys. The amount of people that I run into, and they're like, yeah, I really like it.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And so when I talk to them about the things that I like, and their head spins around when I say cherry glazer.
Yeah.
They have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, and there's always that guy in the room that knows every band you bring up, right? You could make up names. Oh, yeah, I know. I've been into them a long time.
Oh, yeah. I've been in. They just had their first album. I knew them back when they were,
They don't exist.
Yeah.
I just made it up.
The Dead Stinkies. They're my favorite. Oh, yeah, I love them.
Yeah, they played at our fraternity house.
That guy.
That guy. Yeah, so Hippocampus I like a lot. And then, but see, that's a bit of a conflict too, because they are right before an overlap Maren Morris.
They're with Maren Morris, huh?
Yep.
Maren Morris is what time on Saturday?
Saturday at 4.
Okay. I'm such a fan of Maren Morris. I like her a lot, and I'm really, really holding out hope that she gets time for us either before the festival or during the festival, because I've got so many things I want to ask her, right. Because she's one of these artists that's on the cusp of being Taylor Swift. She could be massive if some of the things fall the right way for her, but she's in this weird spot where the country radio people want her so desperately, and the top 40 world wants her so desperately. So she's got to make this call on which way she goes, and it could mean like the future of her career. So that's got to be a ton of pressure for a kid that's in her early 20s and just now trying to figure this out. But the fact that there are so many entities wanting, her,
right,
goes to show you that she's got major, major, major star potential.
Well, yep, absolutely, and I want to see her. So, but that, that's a which stage, what stage thing. So for me, it may be maybe I'll try to shoot pictures.
Wait, so Maren Morris into Fish? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. Hippocampus into Maren Morris.
Okay, Maren Morris is on the wet stage? Wow. Whoa, did not see that coming. Yep. Did I miss that somehow?
First one on the wet stage.
All right, so that's 5 o'clock or so? 4 o'clock?
4, like that 3:45, 4 o'clock.
Man, you've got this. I thought Saturday was going to be a nap day.
Then there's a long break into Casey Musgraves.
Okay. And where's Casey?
Which?
Wow, so they put Casey Musgraves. See, I would think that at this point, Casey Musgraves is a bigger artist than Maren Morris, but maybe I'm wrong about this. I would have flipped the two.
Well, I mean, time of day type of thing.
I guess so.
I don't know.
I guess so.
But, I mean, according to this app, that's what it is.
Okay.
And then another gap. Excuse me. Probably what I'll do, again, pictures of Casey Musgraves and then the John Prine thing.
Now, that just sounded dirty, Barry. That just sounded like you're doing something very nefarious.
She'll know I'm there.
What? Will she? Will she?
I'll be front and center. But then the John Prine thing, and that for me really is probably the number one don't miss.
She don't like her eggs all runny. She thinks crossing her legs is funny. She looks down her nose at money. She gets it on like the Easter bunny. She's my baby, I'm her honey. I'm never gonna let her go.
He ain't got laid in a month of Sundays. Caught him once and he was sniffing my undies. He ain't too sharp, but he gets things done. Drinks his beer like it's oxygen. But he's my baby and I'm his honey. I'm never gonna let him go.
Now, are you a bigger fan of this or Angel and Montgomery? Which one do you prefer? Because that's the one that everybody knows.
Both. That one just tickles me to death.
That's really funny.
And I'll be honest with you, he is one of those guys that used to come to our free Friday night. It's called Nightfall, our Friday night series, and he's one of those guys that all of my musician friends used to just rave about. Mm-hmm. And I'm now more of a lyrics guy than I ever used to be. It was all about melody. So. Yeah. For me, it was like, well, I never heard him on the radio kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
What are you talking about? And then I think I heard that song of all things and became obsessed. Just because it was funny. It made me laugh out loud.
It's very cute. Yeah.
And clever, and then you find out all these other things. He's actually probably one of the people that sort of hit me in the back of the head with a 2x4 and said lyrics are important.
Yeah.
And which is a funny thing for a journalist, music journalist to say, but I've always been more about the groove and the sound of the song, the melody than what the lyrics meant. But that's changing, and he's the reason why.
There's a thought here for me that I don't want to overstate it, but sometimes I think that the history of the art form, if you care about it, if you treat music and the art as sort of disposable and something just to pass the time or to feed a space in your world, then maybe it doesn't matter to you as much. But if you really care about the art form, there are certain people and certain things that you just need to do, right? And seeing somebody like John Prine is sort of like paying your respects to the industry and paying your respects to the art form, right? It's just something that you should probably just do. Even if you don't like it, you should pay your respects to a guy who absolutely deserves it 10 times through, and it will probably be your last and only time to see him.
I totally agree, and I think it's a little bit that...
That's the way I felt about Springsteen, by the way. I felt as though I owed my respects to him to go see that. I was never a fan of Springsteen. In fact, I don't know how anybody listens to that on an album. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I went and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, those guys blazed the trail. And it's real quick. Tom Moreland was here in town at Songbirds, and he played with him. He was with Rage Against the Machine. Played guitar with him for several years. He said they did.
Tom Morello.
Yeah. Moreland is Tom Moreland.
Tom Moreland's from Croatia.
He's a guy who plays here in a bluegrass band. Morello, yes, he was just here and we did an interview, and he was talking about playing with Springsteen and what they're the greatest bar brand in the world. Mm-hmm. Springsteen would change on a dime. He had no set list. He said that I think they did 100. I'm going to get this number wrong. 134 songs, different songs in 32 shows.
That's awesome. That really
amazing,
is awesome,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of thing. But to your point, and that's a little bit why the Shankars and the Mayhalls, to me, just that sort of history, just to be able to lay eyes on and know that they touched this one and that one and blah, blah, blah. So that kind of is important to me. Plus, a guy like John Prine, who's written so many great songs and he's loved and respected by other songwriters, he's not doing 25,000-seat arenas like Springsteen. Mm-hmm. He's been slogging it in the nightclubs.
That's a great point.
He does it for the love of the music.
That's a great point. It's easy to see Springsteen.
Yeah.
It's difficult to see John Prine. Yeah. It's not going to be an easy watch because more often than not, it's probably music is not going to be in your lane if you're listening to this. But it's going to be a hard watch, but you got to go see it. You
got to go see it, and you'll be stunned at how entertained you are. I think. I mean, he's older. It's probably not the same show it was 10 years ago, but the guy's an incredible songwriter.
And then later that night is the one that I'm probably most excited about is National. The
National, which we opened the show with today. Yeah, they're another one of those that you've turned me on to that I'm like, where was that my whole life?
Right, and that's like I was saying earlier, you're about 6 albums deep. You're 6 albums late.
Yeah.
I think about artists a lot of times, much like I think of TV shows. I have not watched 1 second of Game of Thrones, and I'm not going to.
I'm caught up.
Now, the problem is not because I dislike it so much or I have no interest. It's that the moment has already passed. You know, it's like I'm just now getting into the show lost. Like I'm way too far in. It's way too past for me to start now watching. I feel like that's sometime about music, but 6 albums, that's a lot. That's sort of my feeling with Fish. I can't get into Fish because time has well passed me. You know, there are so many albums deep, and I'll never be able to get to a number of shows that makes me feel comfortable even talking about it. Right. You know, I don't know all the songs. I'm not a set list head like all the Fish guys are.
Yeah, and they're one of those that if you pull a song out and say, I really like it, they'd be like, oh, yeah, that was good 10 years ago.
Yeah, sure. Oh, you like that
now,
one. Okay.
Now the 5 that they've done since, so much. But, you know, you mentioned a couple of shows ago, Billie Eilish. I had heard the name but didn't know anything about her. That's probably the most current sort of act that I felt like I want to get up to speed on.
Yeah. Well, that won't take long.
No.
She's 12 years old.
Yeah, I know, but she's fascinating. And the interviews that she's done, the one with the hot sauce, I don't know if you've seen it, is definitely worth looking at. Well, it's hilarious.
Talk about, like, we thought about doing an episode of Bonnaroo Misses and just talking about the artists that we thought were going to be a part of it and didn't. Billie Eilish is a huge one. I don't know how in the world
Yeah.
They didn't just force themselves to get that Billie Eilish show, because the one I saw at Lollapalooza was, oh my God. I mean, you just watch that and you're like, something's here. I don't know what it is, but something is here.
Exactly. Anyway, then the National, and then I know you won't, but if I'm still awake, I'm at least going to walk by Lonely Island just to say I saw them.
Okay, well, that's cute.
I know you don't like them.
Next.
They didn't steal my girlfriend or whatever they did to you.
I just don't want to get into it because...
You don't have to explain.
Because it comes across as such a pompous, dopey thing to be upset about. But I don't like him. I don't like anything about him.
I got that.
Okay.
I'm pretty clear on that.
All right. You know, you have a few of those people in your world,
oh,
right?
Oh, absolutely. Bozzy.
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, the label, so he's on Atlantic Records, which I love to death, and I love these people so much, but they specifically don't call me about him because they know my problems with him.
Yep, never forget. Never forget. But anyway, so again, that, we'll see what happens that night. Because again, that's a long day.
You might be under a blanket by then.
Could be. Could very well be. Or wander back out just to see. Depends on what's going on.
I got you.
And then Sunday starts up, and I don't know if I'm even close to saying this name right, but Kikagatu?
I'm going to bet that you're not. Yeah, I'm going to bet.
But play it. I think you'll like it.
To go through the entire 8 minutes of this song, or
no, you don't.
Okay, good.
It's just a good start of the day. They're from Tokyo, something different.
Yeah.
Sunday probably. What was it? Nick said might be a day to just kind of sway.
Yeah, sway. Are you swaying a lot on Sunday?
It might be go take a blanket.
Okay.
Find it and watch an entire set.
Will you make it through all the way to Fish?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe.
Yeah.
Last year. Made it technically, ended up listening to, was it The Killers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Backstage.
Okay.
Just in a chair.
So if I'm definitely staying on Sunday. It might be the only time I'll ever witness Fish. I don't know what I'm going to be watching. I don't know what in the world it is.
See, and Gucci Mane is on my list, and Childish are the same. I will definitely walk by, and Fish, I could see us there as a group. In the back, just kind of hanging out at the end of it all.
Yeah.
Not because it's Fish, just because it would be...
It's the only thing happening.
It's the only thing happening, and probably a good wind down. I tried to find a Fish song to put on my list on Spotify, and if any of you are out there and are big Fish fans, you're probably going to hee-haw at whatever I picked. I just picked one, and I didn't like it. I think I sent you a note that I don't like it.
Okay.
But I wasn't going to go...
Look,
digging too deep.
I will say there was a time in my life where I got into Farmhouse a lot. I was listening to Farmhouse pretty much front to back, and that would probably elicit a lot of insults. Because I think that there might be like a sect of the Fish community that thinks that Farmhouse is the most ridiculous album they've ever put out.
I would easily step into that bucket.
Yeah, me too.
No idea.
Me too.
No idea, but
what's before the Fish though? What are you gonna?
Well, Brandy Carlisle.
Oh yeah,
that's what I mean. I can see these being full set types of shows. Brandy is there obviously, and I just think that the story and the joke are two incredible songs that she's gotten a lot of attention for, deservedly so.
All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been, and now I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you've got no one to tell them to. It's true, I was made for you. I climbed across.
A lot of Grammy nominations.
Yeah. Terrific.
She is really, really great.
And then after her, Walk the Moon is on the Which, and then Lumineers on the What, but same time as the Lumineers, and I don't know, I think the name just struck me as funny, so I went and listened, and I like it, but Balk and Bump is a DJ at the Christmas Club barn, which I have never stepped inside.
You've never been inside?
Nope, never been inside of it.
Welcome to the Snake and Jake, Barry Quarter. Here you go with Balk and Bump. Had you given me $1,000, I would not have bet a penny of it that you would be at the Christmas barn listening to that on a Sunday.
I like that.
I am stunned.
I know you don't. Because of the way the app is, Little Dicky is right before that. So Randy Carlisle, Little Dicky, and then Balk and Bump. So,
okay.
We got to go see Little Dicky.
Yeah, Little Dicky is for every reason I dislike Lonely Island, I love Little Dicky.
That's a great point. Knows exactly who he is.
Yep, and I think Pillow Talk is one of the great R. Kelly-like videos to have ever been put out in this industry.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And the thing he does with Snoop Dogg is pretty funny. So definitely want to go see him. And you got to imagine he's going to have some guests show up and pop in. I have no idea, and that's part of the interest. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's very, very clever. And like I said, from what I can gather, very aware of who he is and what he does. So I would think it's going to be a pretty good show. And then another walk by for me is definitely going to have to go see Cardi B. That's just to say I did it.
Yeah. Well,
and it could be very, very entertaining. I'm not being cynical about it. I expect
it will be a blast.
To be entertained.
Exactly. It will be an absolute blast. And Cardi B is just the zeitgeist of the moment. Yeah. Aside from Lizzo, I don't think that there is a bigger artist on the planet than Cardi B that has taken over and captured our attention. And that is almost a must-see for that exact reason.
Yeah, she can't come to Tennessee and you be there and not.
Right.
Well, what am I going to do? Back and sit in a chair in Camp Nut Butter and say, I didn't go. Too lazy. Which I have done.
Yeah, plenty of times.
And will do again. And then it sort of wraps up with Fish, and we'll see. And like I said, I could see us in the back of the field there, just hanging out, drinking a beer or whatever.
Well, there you go.
So that's it.
All right, Barry's
What
picks.
I can't wait to do is write this down, get back in 35 days and see how many I actually...
That's a great point. Yeah, see how many actually saw.
Be kind of fun. So that's mine.
Good.
And we'll know when you do yours, but quick guess. Many crossovers?
Probably about half a dozen.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes and no. I'm not going to be seeing the Balk and Bump.
Gotcha.
Probably won't be doing that.
Gotcha.
I just have this thing about whenever you have to tell me when the bass is dropping, that's probably when you're telling me I need to leave. You know what I mean?
It's a fair point.
But yeah, I got about half a dozen on there. I'm excited. This has been fun. I always like Barry's picks because they're always much different than mine. So we have plenty of crossovers.
As we have said many times with our camp, we all hang out, we all like each other, but we never go to the shows.
Hardly ever. Me and Nikki T spend the most time with each other.
Yeah. We might pair up. There might be a couple, that go here and there. We might end up at a thing together, but we never plan it. We never talk about it. Which is what I like.
What's the one that you want the entire camp to go to, that you absolutely would force them to go see?
Ooh, that's a good question. The entire camp?
Yeah.
Probably the National.
Okay.
Or AJR.
Oh, all right.
But I bet we all end up at Courtney Barnett.
Why don't you join us and give us your picks? TheWhatPodcast.com or _podcast on Twitter. My picks next week, and then we round out and count the days down. 2 more weeks after that to Bonnaroo. And some surprises along the way. That's Barry. I'm Brad. We'll talk to you next week.
How y'all feeling?
Journey through the stories that define the artists playing Bonnaroo. Who are they? What are they? What will you see? The what? Which bands this year that matter? With Brad Steiner and Barry Quarter.